Everybody, this is Don LaGreca from the Michael K. Show. When it comes to talking sports, Bob Walters and Brett Grasso are the authority.
Can't wait.
When it comes to talking sports, they're the authority. It's Bob Walters and Brett Grasso. It's Locked Up Sports, and it starts now.
Bring them out, hey. Bring them out, bring them out. Bring them out, hey. Bring them out.
Here we go. Bob Walters, Brett Grasso from the Brian Gunzel Studios. This is Locked Up Sports. Brett gives his first public comments since the Jets disaster on the same day Aaron Rodgers breaks his silence about last Monday night. The Giants find themselves in a must-win Week 2 game in Arizona after the train came off the tracks for Brian Daboll and the G-Men last week against Dallas. And Zack Wilson, can Zack Wilson lead the Jets to the playoffs? Do they have to start looking for a new quarterback? All that, plus Coach Prime goes for 3-0. Brett, what is up, Brett? I'm sorry. My condolences. I want to offer my condolences.
It was so heartbreaking. Let me tell you, like it was so awful because the first thing I thought was like, now like there go all my plans until January. I had like such a big hopes and such an idea of what I was going to do with like my life up until January, and now I have to rethink everything.
I mean, it's got to be. I can't even imagine 3 plays. It's literally it's a punchline. I was sitting here for the last 3 months saying, it's going to be a non-contact. He's going to drop. It's 3 plays into the season.
It's been hard waking up every day to no matter what you turn on or what you look at is that. Which now it's actually gotten funny, but the first day was rough, even after the win. That's the only thing that made it like slightly better was that. Thank God for that punt return for a touchdown, because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to.
Well, I mean, the whole night was just
no, it was
surreal.
all over the place.
It's 9/11. You got the introductions. You got Rodgers running out last with the American flag.
Yeah.
You got the national anthem.
The lights out in the stadium was actually a really cool effect.
And then literally 5 minutes later,
disaster.
It's disaster, and the whole thing's over. And then it starts to circulate around the stadium that, okay, it's an Achilles. Because it didn't look like an Achilles. You couldn't tell. And then it starts to circulate, okay, it sounds like an Achilles. And then the Jets knew at halftime, because he knew right away.
Yeah, they knew.
So then they're down 10 at half against the Bills, who are a good team. They're the class of the division the last couple of years. And then Zack Wilson, who he didn't look great, right? He threw some picks. They babied him all the way.
Yeah, he looked shaky, real shaky.
And Josh Allen kind of helped him out. You know, he looks like Brett Favre. I've been saying he looks like Brett Favre, like early Brett Favre. He's got all the talent in the world. He's just reckless with the ball.
He can't help himself.
He's reckless with the ball.
Can't help himself. His brain just won't let him.
Because if he doesn't throw that pick, Zack Wilson's not going 85 yards.
He's an adrenaline junkie. He can't stop himself.
Yeah, and then to cap it off, it's the kid from Hard Knocks, the last guy on the team, the guy everyone was rooting for, returns the punt for a touchdown, a walk-off touchdown, and one of the best wins the Jets have had in years.
And you can't even enjoy it.
And it's on one of the worst nights in the franchise history.
And all you felt was just sick to your stomach at the end.
Because you knew what was coming.
You were happy, but you were sick.
And Saleh got up there in the press conference right after, and he's like...
You couldn't sleep, but you're not even sure why, because you were happy or not happy. You really don't even know yet.
He's like, I want to start with the quarterback, and it's not good. It's an Achilles. We expect it to be what we think it's going to be tomorrow, and of course it was. He tore his Achilles. It's like Vinny Testaverde that year.
Yeah.
Except Zack Wilson's probably a little better than Ray Lucas, right?
I don't know. Is he? We're going to find out. My big question is, which Rodgers are we getting? Are we getting the Rodgers that is going to come back and be on the sidelines like we saw in the preseason and guiding Zack Wilson of this is what you should be doing or this is what you missed? Or is it going to be a guy who's focused on his rehab and out somewhere else?
Well, he had the surgery today. Or yesterday.
You had it yesterday, the day before, actually. But we saw him today on the Pat McAfee show when he came in. He had his statements and he talked about. Listen, he said.
I think he'll be on the sideline because I think he's going to. He's
talking about coming back this year. He's talking about coming back.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll be back for playoffs.
That's just what Zack Wilson wants to hear. If I happen to be good enough to lead this team into the playoffs, he's going to take my job.
That's saying I just have such faith in you. I will be back when you bring us there, Zach.
He's going to sit behind Zack Wilson.
They're gonna
January 7th.
Science, technology. There's new things coming out. We're gonna work this out. A lot of things.
To answer your question, I think he's going to be on the sideline. I think he's done everything right in New York, right since he got here.
And it looks like now he wants to play. It looks like he is. Forget about whatever he said about this season. It looks like he's here for next season, which was a concern. Like my first concern was, is this the end of his career?
I thought it would be.
He can't say it is or isn't now. We're going to see how this goes. Like there's setbacks that can occur, like where it may not work out. But it looks like he's back, and if that happens, I think we might even see him for a third season, even though it would really only be his second season.
I thought it would. Yeah, I think he might sign for another third year.
Yeah.
But when it first happened,
red shirt.
I thought for sure he was gonna be, retire, because it's a long rehab. I mean, you got to deal with it's hard rehab, and he's an older guy.
You know what it is? There's no reason to say I retire, because you can retire later when it doesn't work out during rehab and just say, okay, it didn't work out.
He was like defiant today on
I mean, look at Alex Smith. Like, you get a call from Alex Smith and be like, yeah, you retired? Like, you serious?
But Alex Smith was like 40.
Yeah, but half his leg was gone. So I'm just saying that you go see what happens first. Like, everybody else wrote him off where you're never coming back. And this is kind of the same thing. And he said today, he was like, yeah, bring on the doubters. Bring on the people. He wants to hear the people say you can't, or what's your time frame, or you can't come back. He goes, because if you do that, it's going to motivate me even more. Like, and I like to do that.
And it's easy to say when you're all doped up on painkillers.
No, that's all great, but that's a man saying, I'm coming back to play football. And this isn't the guy, like we all talk about, yeah, but what about your kids, and what about your family? No kids. No wife. Got a girl, whatever.
He might be gay.
That's great. That's great. Let me tell you. Well, then he can win a championship and go down the parade, and be whatever. Do whatever he wants.
Canyon of Heroes.
We really loved in New York. They love him.
But I couldn't believe it when it happened. I was driving to work, and our buddy Frank texted, and I saw the text between.
You didn't know.
You and him, I didn't know.
That was sick because you were.
That's how I found out.
I was like, I love breaking news like that.
That's how I found out. And I was like, no, he's not hurt. I was like, he's hurt? Because I knew the game had just kicked off right as I was on my way to work, and I didn't know. And I found out that, and I was like,
it seemed so fake.
And he went, because it didn't look real. And he stood up, and then when he sat down, you knew something was wrong because he.
Yeah, but even then, it was like you didn't know. Like, you think like a high ankle sprain or that's what it is usually.
And but for that, give them credit, because for them to come back down 10 points against a good team, Zack Wilson,
defense, and it wasn't. And Josh Allen gave that game away. The Jets did not have any business winning that or getting back into that football game. No business. No. And they watched, and Josh Allen. We kind of touched on it earlier. He had guys open. 2 or 3 receivers open that would have been first downs, that would have moved things along. I'm talking on 3rd and 2. And he was taking these deep shots into double coverage with guys waiting. And I don't know what's wrong with him, or they can get him under control. But let me tell you, he played terribly.
Yeah, and even the field goal that tied it, I mean, off the upright and in.
That got me I was so sick, because I was like, when it hit, I was like, oh, it didn't go in.
Yeah, and the place was going crazy. Like, if you see some of the videos they have of that from like different parts of the stadium, it was going crazy. And they shut the lights off again at the end. We don't know
what to do. We've never been hyped like this. Nobody's ever expected us to do anything.
And to have the best quarterback in the franchise history yet to complete a pass for the team, he's the best. He's better than Namath. He's the best quarterback in the franchise history to ever, and he's never completed a pass. Josh Allen has more completions to Jets than he does this year.
Yeah,
and. He's not coming back this year, but now is Zack Wilson the kind of guy? Because you can't win a Super Bowl with Zack Wilson, right? So Zack Wilson's not gonna go 80 yards in the snow in January on the road to win a playoff game.
Zack Wilson brings them to the AFC Championship. Okay.
Well, the question
Rodgers is approved. You're good. They were like, today you're good. The day before they're like, you're good. I'm talking practice. Like, does Rodgers play?
Yeah, he has to. Now here's the thing. Is Zack Wilson? Is he?
No, he got him to the AFC Championship.
Yeah, but how did he get?
He got them Mark Sanchez style.
Did he do like a
Mark Sanchez style?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Though, is he Mark Sanchez or is he Max Scherzer?
No, he got them Mark Sanchez style, not Vinny Testaverde style.
What would you do?
I've seen both styles, and then there's and you know who's right in between? That's Chad Pennington style.
You know what I'm doing?
That's the middle ground.
Pennington would play. Pennington was good.
Pennington is one of my favorite Jets quarterbacks of all time.
Pennington was good.
I just the guy who didn't have it all, but was so smart that made it work.
What do you now? What I do, if I'm the coach and that, like, in the hypothetical, the Jets make it to the AFC Championship game, is I start Zack Wilson. First sign of any trouble, you go down or anything like that, you pull.
Oh my God, that's you bitch! Imagine in the locker room going, Aaron. We're going with Zach.
We're gonna put you in if anything goes wrong.
We're going with Zach. He got us here. He's got the team behind him.
Oh man, I mean,
is that what you're telling me?
That's what I would. You just said he got you there, right? He did Mark Sanchez. Mark Sanchez wasn't bad, although Mike Westhoff did come on the show and said the only reason they didn't go to the Super Bowl was because of Mark Sanchez.
Now imagine it's the AFC Championship game. Mark Sanchez. Dan Marino comes back, and they go,
have a seat, Dan.
Dan. Mark's our guy.
Well, Mike Westhoff sat here, told us
that 1 year in USC, he did good over there.
He told us that Mark Sanchez was the only reason they didn't go to the Super Bowl. So you don't want to listen. I guess you go with Rodgers because you don't want to go down the rest of your life saying I had a chance to go to the Super Bowl and I lost it because of Mark.
I'm not going to go any further than this, but first drive, Rodgers is hobbling around. Do you just yank him instantly? Or doesn't, what do you do?
Yeah, if he's hobbling around and he's not...
Because now you're not getting him for next year.
He's not even close.
So you mess him up.
Yeah, Zack Wilson got you there. Go with the girl that got you to the dance.
He has no confidence now. You yanked him early. His confidence is ruined.
Well, who you playing?
He was going to be your future.
Who you playing?
He was about to be your future. That one drive.
Oh man,
that's a Jets scenario for you. Well, you'll never see a more Jets. This is what
I said. The whole thing
is what we have nightmares about at night. So you just how did my week go? That's what I think.
Yeah, because the nightmare came true. It's so ironic. This whole thing is so ironic.
Sorry, Marty.
Oh, the whole thing is so ironic that it wouldn't shock me if this thing finished off with the Jets winning the Super Bowl with Zack Wilson. As crazy as
the odds going down, that's the best bet. Put your double down.
Monday,
the odds
Monday at 7:00 p.m. They were 16-1 to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
At 11 o'clock at night, they were 65-1 to win the Super Bowl. They were minus 220 to make the playoffs before the game. They're plus 350 to make the playoffs after the game. That's why. And you got Dallas.
Do you think they make the playoffs?
I do. I think. You know what? I don't know. I think they get close. I think they're in it to the end. They got a good team, though. The Jets are a good team.
Well, they're going to end up at 3-3. They're going to be at 3-3. They're going to go. And who do they have? Because they
got Dallas this week. They can beat Dallas. No, Dallas is going to come in there all high and mighty. We put the world beaters.
Yeah, but they need to beat the Patriots and the Broncos.
Those are winnable games. The Broncos are going to be a little bit tougher. The Patriots they should beat. Although what's his face would look good in the win. Mac Jones is that his name?
Yeah.
Mac Jones looked good.
Mac Miller.
Is it? Okay. Well, whatever. Their quarterback, the Patriots quarterback, he looked good in their win, and so you never know. And then on the other end of it is the Giants, and like I said, well, I hope you go in there and kick Dallas's ass because
well, that's also I think that before we even get into it, I think the Jets are going to go put up a really good fight in Dallas. Like people are counting them out. And people are against with Zack Wilson. You saw Zack Wilson as a guy who did not take a single snap into anything and had no clue what was going on when he walked in there with his head spinning. You're going to get at least a guy who has got a couple reps in him and has been coached a little bit, where he's going to have a game plan with plays for him set up and a game plan for him set up. So this isn't going to be like what we saw last week. Now, what's going to happen and where he throws the ball? God.
Well, you can tell. Listen, the whole game
defense
they
is going to keep them in the game. They're going to have picks. They're going to have at least one pick. They're going to have they got to have.
You got to give them a short field.
They got to get to Dak. And if they can do that, listen, let me tell you, if they put themselves in 3rd and long, the Jets, they're in trouble. They are never going to convert a 3rd and long versus this defense.
They need turnovers.
They need the running. Of course, they need turnovers. They need the running game to take over. They need Zack Wilson to
because he's not
stay turnover free.
He's not putting together 85-yard, 10-play drives. So you got to get turnovers. You got to get big punt returns. You got to get pressure on the punter.
Couple big runs. Couple big runs. A couple dump off screens. One big play down. Like you can't. He does have the capability.
He does. What he had because that touchdown, the tying touchdown that he threw was a terrible pass. He had Wilson go up and grab it.
But he can throw. He can throw a long ball. Like he can throw a deep ball. They don't. you have so many plays before that to even allow it. You can't comes down to you have to run the ball, you got to hit your check downs, you got to open up the game, and then once in a while they will give him a chance, but he never gets there. He throws a pick on that second play that's on the check down. He misses the guy on the screen. They can't run the ball. Again, let me tell you, they got two of the greatest running backs playing in the NFL right now as a tandem. And so if those guys can hold it off, let me tell you, they got a slight chance. But
I think they can win. Keep it close. The defense is going to keep it close, right?
Yeah.
Defense, and Dallas isn't putting up 40 points. That was an anomaly last week against the Giants. It was just a game that got out of hand, and we'll get into it in a minute. But just keep it close and hope
Zach can do it. I'm telling you, the guy can do it.
Zach, you're going to war with Zach. Now you're not getting another quarterback. Who you calling?
I have nowhere else to be.
I mean, yeah, because there's nobody you really want to bring. You want to bring in Carson Wentz, who's busted three times with teams.
No, it's not.
You want to
the
get
only guy
Flacco again?
No.
You want and also you don't want Carson Wentz there because as soon as Zack Wilson's bad for a week, now you got a quarterback controversy, and that's the last thing you want.
Yeah, no, the only guy I go for, and that's if they lose again next week and they go 0-3, is Kirk Cousins. That's I'm telling you, I would bring him in, and I think he'd fit in pretty quickly.
Can they fit him under the cap though?
But if they have to wait till the trade deadline, if they wait under it's his last contract.
It's his last year of the contract. Okay,
last year of his contract. This is a bye. See you later. Going to cost you not much. It all comes down to the Vikings want to give him up.
Vikings were 11. They had 13 wins last year. They lost to the Giants in the playoffs.
Jefferson's unhappy. He went off and had a day. I mean, how about that fumble in the end zone? How do you like that rule?
It was if you fumble it out of the end zone, it's a touchback.
What?
I don't know why everybody has a problem with that rule all of a sudden today. Because that's always been the rule. Nobody's ever complained about that rule. What do you want it to be? Fumble it through the end zone, you get it on the 1 yard line. Is that what you want?
I
got no problem with that rule.
It just doesn't seem like it just seems like an odd thing for the other team to get the ball.
It seems like back.
But you fumble. It's not like I understand if you intentionally fumble it forward.
Well, that's what you're gonna get if you change this rule. You're gonna have somebody do something like that, intentionally fumble it forward.
No, but we live in a day and age where you can decide that. This isn't 1928. You're right. It used to be the game's gonna be over, and guys would be like, "Oops,
fumble it forward."
But that's why they always used to say you can't advance the fumble. You bring it back. So that rule's covered. You know what I mean? So I'm not even worried about that.
But I heard that today, and I didn't understand that. Well, all of a sudden, everybody's all up in arms about the ball getting fumbled out of the end zone.
Because you're telling me that's the difference in this world of, if it was that 1 millimeter on this side, or if it didn't hit the pylon,
but that's not the rule.
Difference of, no, you're talking you have the most advantage in the world. No, the rule strips from one end of the most advantage in the world of right down to, you have it on the 1 inch line.
To the other team's going the other way.
The other team has it on the other 20-yard line. Down to, for what? The same fumble. Same fumble, it results in two different. It's just very odd.
But you don't. Okay, so here's where it happens, right? Because someone fumbles it around.
I think people had a problem with this for a long time, and we're waiting for the opportunity for it to come up.
Here's why. No, I don't think they did, because it happens all the time, and it happens
not like that.
Yeah, not like that. That was the one where you're like, okay, I can see you questioning it. Here's where it happens. There's a fumble in the end zone. The team, instead of trying to jump on it, could just kick it out of the back of the end zone, and now you still got the ball on the 1 yard line. Right? Instead of diving for it for the touchdown, we don't dive for it for the touchdown, because you might not get it. You might dive on it, squirts out. Just kick it out of the back of the end zone. We'll do it again on the 1 yard line.
Well, you're not allowed to intentionally kick it out. I don't know.
How are you going to call that? How are you going to call that? I was running, I jump on it. I accidentally. That's what it's for. Now, I get it. Yes, last night was kind of the exception. It was the close call. Or you get like the Don Beebe with Leon Lett running down the thing, and he knocks it out of his hand, out of the end zone.
It was the only leg of my
parlay.
Do
you think Dallas should get that ball on the 1 yard line in the Super Bowl? I mean, come on. And plus, it's been a rule forever. It's never not been a rule since we've been watching football or been alive. And now all of a sudden everyone's got an issue with it because it blew up a couple parlays or something on people's things. Yeah, exactly. So that's why people are upset with it. No one ever has ever had a problem with it. And I heard it today.
Giants Super Bowl, that happens. How do you feel about it?
I'm upset about it. It's happened to I've seen it happen. It's happened in big games, and I can't remember specific games right now, but it has definitely happened in big games and big spots. It's just the rule. I mean, that's the rule. It is what it is. That's how it's been forever.
Don't act like they don't change the rules whenever the hell they want to change.
Yeah, but I don't see why
you are right about certain things are down to this 10 yards and,
But
this
what
is
do you
how
want? What do you want? What do you want it to be? You want the ball on the 1 yard?
I think that the team should retain possession.
Or, okay, how about this?
I didn't say 1 yard. No, I actually think it should be at the 20.
Yeah, you get the ball back at the 20.
Yes,
that's
what I really believe is what, honestly, if you...
So I have the ball, I fumble it out of the end zone, I get the ball on the 20-yard line going in, the tip of the red zone.
Yes, you just pushed the ball all the way down. Your player had the possession in his hand, was diving with the ball, attempting to make a positive gain. Gets knocked out of his hand. Okay, listen, it goes 1 millimeter in that direction as opposed to this direction. It's a total flip-flop, 10 points in that game.
No, then it's
game
not total
change your
flip-flop. You have
spot.
the ball on the 20-yard line. It's
and
not field
nothing
goal
else works that way. You're right, because like that millimeter play goes down to usually inbounds or out of bounds, and that does make. But that's black and white, like you can see it.
It's black, but the problem is that's not what the rule's not for that. For what happened last night.
Well, this
last
is just
night
like
is
those inbounds and out of bounds don't flip the game instantly. It can on like a fourth down or whatever it is.
It's a turnover.
It is, but this is
because the end zone.
But this is like 1st and 10. You had the ball. You're running. You dove. You just had a 30-yard gain. And I understand nobody else grabbed the ball. You just turned the ball over and nobody touched it on the other team.
Because he dropped
Nobody on the other team touched it, and the other team now has possession.
But all he needs
it's the only turnover that occurs that way.
But all he needs is possession for the tip of the football to touch the front of the goal line.
I get it.
That's it. And most of the time, they're inside the pylon anyway. The rule is not made for what happened last night. The rule is made for when it's bouncing around the end zone, so the team can't just kick it out. Or like the Don Beebe play. Like, yeah, you know what? You don't deserve it. Because if you're that close and you fumble it out of bounds through the end zone, you don't deserve the ball. Take better care of it.
Can we get sensors in the balls now, like they have in Wimbledon and everything else? Like, give me a break.
Like, just lasers. You don't even need sensors in the ball.
In everything. I don't care what it is.
Everything.
Just no more balls and I'm even done with it all. Like, just give me the exact right what it is from now on.
We can.
I know. Like, that one right there, we don't have to think about it.
Because you don't really know
out of bounds, sensors in the fields. They're talking about the turf. Should we do all grass? Should we do this? You're telling me you don't have sensor turf grass where every footstep is like accounted for, or the camera systems, or whatever you want to do.
And the camera down the goal line.
We're still down to like a guy painted it and he missed. And he's like, that's where we're at.
I know.
That's where we're at. And you know the guy, and it's the same guy.
Yeah,
we're like,
he's 75.
He's going. We're gonna have him do it.
He's been doing it forever.
Yeah.
Now,
but he's squiggles.
All right, so now the Giants last week. The Giants in a complete and utter just disaster. That was just, I mean, it doesn't get much worse than what the Giants did last week. I mean,
no, it does when your coach just lets you keep having to take it right down the throat. When you're just like, you know what? Your coach is like, it's the fourth quarter. Let's get him back out there.
Well, why would you keep him out there? I mean, listen, that's the game that just got out of hand. They're not as bad. The Cowboys are 40 points better than the Giants. What it is it got out of hand. They blocked the field goal, devastating play down the field, and then before you know it, it's 19-0. What bothered me was
I thought the offense looked good on that first drive.
No, I don't think they did. I think Daniel Jones was running for his life.
I like that.
And what happened was he just got
that opens up their offense when they get scared of him running. Like that's what I thought the rest of the game is going to be like. Daniel Jones moves out. He goes, oh, I got a guy open, and they're like worried about him running, it didn't. Like I'm just shocked at how bad we're gonna find out this week in the Jets game. Is the Cowboys defensive line that good? Are they really gonna run people over like that? Because that was just awful to watch.
That was the Giants. That was the Giants being terrible. They were terrible. It was a terrible offensive line performance. They didn't protect him at all. They came through running free every single play. Every single play, they came running free, right? So Daniel Jones had no chance. No quarterback would have done well in that game. 40-0, though, it's an alarming thing. And I sat there and I said for 2 weeks that I think it's a big game for the Giants. So I'm not going to sit here and go, it's overreacting, and I'm overreacting because it's week 1. No, that was a big game. The Giants don't win within the division. They're 9-33 in the last 10 years against the Cowboys and the Eagles. They got to start winning these games. And now the team clearly just wasn't prepared at all, period. They weren't prepared for that game. They came out and they just played. You can survive a blocked field goal going the other way. It's devastating, but you can survive it. And then the pick six.
How do you feel about games like that? Like, say the Giants kick that field goal, it doesn't get blocked. They don't have the next. Like, do you think games like switch where the Giants could have been in it, or do you think there was no way they could have won that game?
No,
Which way? Because how do you feel? Like,
I think if they don't get the pick 6, I think
did they have any chance of winning that game that night?
No, not with the way they were playing. They could.
Like if they just the block field goal didn't happen.
No, the block field they might be in it a little bit longer,
right?
But they're not going to complete.
They have no chance.
They weren't going to win that game.
That's what worries me, and that's why this week it's going to be an interesting test for them.
I think they got Arizona. I think this is a gift. This is a gift in the schedule because Arizona's trying. They're tanking for the first pick. Okay. And the Giants are clearly a better team. Now, they got some injuries, okay? They got Andrew Thomas, the offensive tackle, who's a big part of that line, did not practice the last 2 days. Darren Waller, the new tight end, did not practice the last 2 days. Ojulari is doubtful. Wan'Dale Robertson is doubtful. So these are all big question marks. If none of those guys play, the Giants, it's not going to be the easiest. What are you doing over there?
Marty Smith.
It's not going to be the easiest game. They might not cover the touch. What are they, 6? I think they're 6 or 4.
6.5.
6.5. They might not cover the 6.5. I would hope they do.
Actually, I'm not positive.
I would hope they do, but because they're a touchdown better than Arizona. But you got to block somebody, and then the whole thing with the going into halftime, you're down 26-0, right? You're probably not going to win. You're not coming back down 26 the way you played, but at least go out there and show some effort. Dallas comes out, and it's a touchdown right off the bat. It's 33-0. It's pouring rain. People spent a lot of money. Imagine you went there. Imagine you got season tickets. I mean, you bought them off StubHub, $300, Dallas. You go there, it's pouring rain, and you saw basically 3 minutes of football.
Who would you rather be right now? The Jets or the Giants?
Would I rather be? I would rather be the Giants because the Jets lost all hope. The Jets lost their hope to win the Super Bowl. Now the Jets are still a better team. The Jets and the Giants play each other in a couple weeks. I think the Jets are better, and I think the Jets will probably beat the Giants, or a good chance, or at least be favored. But who would I rather be? I'd rather be the Giants right now because the Jets went from 16-1 to win the Super Bowl to 65-1 to win the Super Bowl, and you basically lost.
The Giants went from 65-1 to 65-1.
The Giants were the Giants aren't winning the Super Bowl this year. The Giants in Vegas has them at 7 wins, right? So we'd be lucky to get 10. That's what the goal is for me.
7.
I think the Giants fans saw last year and they're like, okay, we won a playoff game. Now we want to have a home playoff game and we want to make it to the championship. Listen, look at these teams in the NFC, right? You got Dallas, clearly better than the Giants. Philadelphia is better than the Giants. They showed that last year in the playoffs. San Francisco is better than the Giants. There are teams. The Giants aren't that level of teams yet. They're not there yet. They're getting there. They're better. They picked up some weapons for Daniel Jones. But I also don't like how Daniel Jones wants to run the ball all the time. It's okay to be a mobile quarterback and to have the ability to get out of the pocket and run.
Yeah.
But don't look to run, and then if you can't run, then look to throw. That's what he does.
And these are the seasons that, say you do win 8 games or 9 games and don't make the playoffs. The seasons that he's going to take the abuse, and it's going to be for like how many runs does he take, and how much does he get beat up?
Yeah, you get
and we're going to need him. You're going to need him when the team when you got the people on your team and you're ready to really make a run. You're going to need a healthy Daniel Jones.
You can't do that in the NFL. It's like Josh Allen does the same thing. He almost wants to run these guys over. You're a quarterback. Don't play tough.
Yeah, I want to see if he actually smartens up.
And also, all these quarterbacks, Brett, name me a great quarterback who doesn't look at even Aaron Rodgers. He sits back in the pocket and he flings it out. He gets it out fast. They're not running around. He runs around.
He
can run.
That's his MO though. That's kind of how he got hurt. That's all about the chop block, right?
I know
the cut block or whatever.
And the play, he should have got rid of the ball. He tried to scramble.
And he doesn't want that. There's they had deep conversations, cut
but that's
block.
the play. That's the play.
No, but the whole point is even if he did cut him, cut block him, and the guy hits the ground. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't release that ball right away and goes and scrambles, that guy is still going to crush him.
Yeah, but they're taught to do that because in the NFL, the guys are big and it's all in the defensive linemen get their hands up and they knock the balls down.
Aaron Rodgers went out and said, "I don't want it."
Then don't run that play.
He says, "I don't want it." No, they went in and they were like, "We're going to do it anyway."
Now, Aaron Rodgers first of all, no. Because Aaron Rodgers has carte blanche over what plays are being run. He doesn't want to run it. He's not going to run it.
It's not the play. It's the type of block.
Yeah, but that's the block that is with that play.
I know, and I hate that.
And that's what they teach.
I know, yeah.
So you can't just, he hasn't been taught this.
How do you feel if you're the guy? How do you think Dwayne Brown?
I feel like I did what I was told. I did what I was taught. I was taught to undercut him, get him on the ground so he can't knock the ball down and give Rodgers a throwing lane.
You blew.
Rodgers was supposed
to miss the block.
He missed the block. He didn't miss the block though. Yeah, I guess he did. Okay, you're right. He did miss it. But okay, he missed the block.
How do you feel about that? Like that's rough.
You feel
that's
bad,
rough.
I guess.
You feel bad, I guess.
Yeah, but it happens. First of all, they missed the blocks on the other two plays too. He wasn't exactly doing anything on the other two plays, and also
it's not Zack Wilson that got hurt back there. We're talking Aaron Rodgers.
That's a 3-step drop pass. That ball should have been out of his hand. If you look at it, everyone running shallow routes, crossing patterns across the field. The ball's got to be out. So Rodgers screwed himself up.
Right. Back to the
Giants and Arizona.
Giants.
Now the Giants.
I'm telling you, don't sleep on Arizona. The Giants they're going to be in trouble if they lose this game. Their whole season, it's going to be devastating to them.
They lose this season because then they're going to be 0-3 because they get a short week into San Francisco, which is clearly a step above Dallas, even. Right? I didn't think San Francisco was going to be this good.
It's a big week for all those teams to see what they're really about.
How do you feel if
all of them. Is Dallas going to come out and march and just crush the Jets? Is San Francisco going to come out and be who they were last week? Because I don't know. We're not even sure yet. Or the Giants going to fold this week, or the Giants going to step up and crush Arizona. I don't know who's who yet. So I'm going to guess, but I'm telling you, this is different.
There were good teams that lost. Kansas City lost, right?
Who are they? The Lions won. The Lions going to be big.
The Lions, I think, are going to be good this year. I think the Lions are going to be good.
But it's really the Vikings are going to keep losing. I don't know. Are the Bengals going to win their game? Are the Bengals there? The
Bengals.
Who's Joey Burrow right now? Yeah, they're going to win. Were they playing the Ravens?
Yeah, the Ravens.
I think they're playing the Ravens. That's a tough game right there for both of them.
Ray Lewis and
who are the Ravens? Who are the Ravens?
The Ravens.
They won their game, but
the Ravens are good though. But the Ravens with Lamar Jackson is there to prove a point now. I think he's like I'm here to prove a point.
I know,
because I don't know how he went back to that team after everything he said all summer. He was trashing. Remember.
Well, he was going to take the other offers, but they didn't exist.
Yeah, because he wanted. I told you they weren't going to exist. You told me he was going to get it. You sat here and was like, he's going to get that guarantee money he asked for. I said, no, he's not. They'll let him sit. These owners aren't giving it to
pretty good in green right now.
Yeah,
that's the other problem. The Jets didn't go get their backup.
But who were you going to get? They did have a backup. They had Zack Wilson.
Who was on the market? No, they had the option to go pick up Teddy Bridgewater, I think.
I mean, you know what? You should have kept Geno Smith. You want to say that? You should have just kept Geno Smith.
Listen.
He was in the MVP vote. He was playing great last year. He's back. Geno is back.
I'm with you. I like Geno Smith.
Why not keep Geno Smith?
He sent us on a run once.
Geno Smith was terrible. Geno Smith is like Justin Turner for the.
No, he was like Anthony Young.
Anthony Young lost to 20-some games in a row. Geno Smith was on the Jets. He wasn't very good, right?
Yeah.
He played everyone. He played this season. He started, then he wasn't back. He wasn't very good.
And now he's really good. He took off like Mike White took off for like a string where like Jets get hyped about that, where you get like 4 games in a row where we're like, oh my god, like Geno did that at one point.
Yeah, but Geno was good. Geno is good now. Geno wasn't very good with the Jets.
You know why Geno's good? Because he spent so much time learning and he's been there in it and so eventually some people eventually that's what it takes. You need that much time to yes, exactly. Some guys it really is, and that's why if Aaron Rodgers is around, this might be a little bit of a different season for Zack Wilson. Imagine every time last season when Zack Wilson made a bad play, he came off and Aaron Rodgers was sitting there and was like, "Guess what, buddy? We're gonna figure this out."
Or if he was like
I'm telling you, that's a different.
Ankle's feeling a little better. You're feeling good for the playoffs. If you get there, you better make this pass, buddy. I'm going to be there for the playoffs.
I would have hit him from the bench.
But now,
or is it worse? Or is it like Aaron Rodgers is over there and you're sweating with your headband?
So. Now, there are a lot of teams that went 0-1 that have to win this week, right? The Giants have to win. You can't go 0-2 if you're the Giants because you're shaky anyway. There are teams like that have to win. There are teams like the Chiefs that they don't have to win. No. They can dig themselves out of an 0-2. Yeah. The Bengals can dig themselves out of an 0-2 hole. The Bills can probably dig themselves out of an 0-2 hole next week. I think that's the way it goes. Now, the Chiefs are going to be getting people back. Travis Kelce's going to play again this week. Word is he's dating Taylor Swift. Now, I had heard that he tried to go to the Taylor Swift concert, and he tried to give her a note because I guess he made her a bracelet.
Oh,
they make bracelets.
Yeah.
Like the Swifties make bracelets.
Yeah.
I know this, bro. I'm a big fan. So they go and they trade them. They trade them, right? Her people wouldn't let him backstage because she won't talk to anybody after the concert because of her voice and this and that because she's doing so many shows. Now you're telling me that she got word that they're dating?
They're dating. That's what I'm hearing. No, I mean his brother wouldn't confirm, but
he didn't deny either.
He didn't deny it, and so that's. But like, how does that work? Like she's the megastar. Like
she's the star. She's the star.
And he's like
she's the money.
He's
she's
like
the star.
and he's like Patrick Mahomes' sidekick.
Yeah. Well, he's signing the prenup.
She's definitely already an NDA.
Absolutely.
First thing,
NDA right
that
off
was
the bat.
the friendship bracelet. Well, I will not accept that unless you sign this.
Yeah, NDA.
But you can't just be like. You have to you got to be a pretty cool dude. Like you got to be into it. You can't just be like, oh, he's a star, I'm a star. We're gonna.
Well, she didn't know who he was. There's no way she knew who Travis Kelce was before she heard about it and heard that he was a popular football player.
But so like pretty much the friendship bracelet shows up. She's like, who's this Travis Kelce guy?
Someone gives it to her and goes, hey, here, Travis Kelce gave it, and she goes, who? And he goes, the football player.
And she goes back to her tour bus with her friends and puts on her pajamas and they put on YouTube videos of
and they have pillow fight. They have pillow fights.
He's cute. He's so cute.
Yeah. That's exactly what happened.
That's what happened.
But how come somebody
should I text him?
How come I can't give Taylor?
No, they're like, should I text him in the middle? And he's like, I'll text him. And he's like at the Super Bowl.
But how come I can't give Taylor Swift the bracelet and her friends go back and throw on our show and be like, oh, he's cute?
Would she date a regular guy?
No, I think, you know what? You have things like that sometimes, like Britney Spears dated her backup dancer.
Yeah.
But that's not a regular guy. They work together, right? That's like a...
Yeah, but someone like us, what's it like if you're like...
I work a job where it's hard to even stay married to my job.
Yeah, but it would be great, but she'd be like, oh, that's cool. I'd be like, I'm sorry, I can't go to the Grammys. Like, I got stuck. I got stuck. I can't. I know there's that big party after, I'd love to, but...
Listen, there was a slashing. I can't make it.
They're going to drop my insurance if I miss another day.
And she's got plenty of money, but what if it doesn't work? I can't not go to work. Of course. You bang it, not go to work. I could do what I got to do to not go to work.
Yeah.
But then it doesn't work. Then 6 weeks down the line, I've already basically blew up my situation in my job for Taylor Swift, and she's like,
and it's not.
And then Travis Kelce gives her a bracelet, and she loses interest in me, and she's all about Travis Kelce, and now I'm homeless because I dated Taylor Swift.
No pension.
And I'm screwed. I'm not 10 years in. I'm not vested yet. If I'm gonna date Taylor Swift, I gotta be vested in my pension first. I got 2 more years. So if she wants to hang around,
I heard that
she sees
part of her criteria was someone who's vested.
Yeah, well, I got to look out for myself, right? What if this doesn't work? That's my prenup.
It's just so embarrassing. Now you're prenup. So she's at a concert and you're calling her up.
Yeah,
she's
listen.
She's I'm kind of busy right now. I got 100,000 people at the Meadowlands.
Listen, I'm in the locker room. I'm going to try and get out. The captain's still at the podium, though. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make. She's still sticking. Someone just came down here and said she's still sticking people, so I don't know if I'm going to make it.
She's like, I don't think this is going to work.
Oh. Well, you never know, Brad. Maybe we give her a bracelet and you can watch our show, right? Or she has access to the show.
Yeah.
Maybe she look at these blue eyes. Look at these things. Come on.
He's not available.
So, baseball news, Brad. They're still playing baseball. Believe it or not, it's on the TV right here. Mets are trying to come back here against they're getting
production team.
They're getting all the theatrical again. They got the time run on at bat.
Yeah.
The Mets this week, they got their man from the Brewers, president of baseball operations, David Stearns.
Yeah.
What is this? Listen, I guess he runs the show now, right? He runs everything. But what is the president?
No, he's running everything. No, he's everything. No, he's running the show.
But they're going to keep Epler there.
He's the GM. They like Epler because he's got connections to Japan and to some other spots. So everybody's got their part that they serve. But let me tell you, it's all through David Stearns. This is who they were waiting for.
Yeah.
He's getting paid like $10 million a year. The guy he has full control. That's what it was Steve Cohen made a desperation. He knew he's been waiting for him for 2 years. This was all done 2 years ago.
When he bought the team, he knew he wanted
100%. But he made a desperation run without him to try and win a World Series title on the way. And then you see him, the moment he realized it wasn't, and that was going to be his guy in 2 months, everybody went.
Yeah. Well, they got rid of the full front office except Epler.
The players, Everybody.
coaches,
He rebuilt them before him. Let me tell you. Do you think that was prior to the contract and talked about?
You mean was he with it? Was
Do you think that he was in
tampering?
on that? Was he in on all of it?
Yeah, listen, of course there was tampering.
No, but was that his decision? Was it a like?
Oh yeah, probably. You mean was it
not
Stearns' decision?
How can you do that like if he had no clue?
You can never prove it, but there was absolutely tampering.
I don't even think people have really talked about
because
this.
they talk. No, I've heard it talked about, but there's absolutely tampering. You can tell me that he's gonna make all those decisions, knowing he's gonna bring this guy in without checking with him. Now,
and how do you do it these days?
You gotta burn a phone and you text them.
I was just gonna say.
Well, you put it through people.
But are you smart enough, or are these people just not smart enough?
Steve Cohen is smart enough. Yeah. He didn't make billions of dollars not being smart. You tell me he's never made an insider trade or something.
But you go. Oh yeah, you're right.
He's doing something, and you don't. If I'm going to take the job, right? If I'm going to take a job where I'm running a company in 2 months, and they're going to make all these wild decisions. I'm going to have a say in it. Everybody in the world knew he was taking the job and he was going to get the job. So, yeah, of course. Now, you never prove it. There's plausible deniability, I'm sure, all over the place. But he absolutely made the call probably to get rid of these people. Now, does Buck stay? Does Buck go? There's word now Buck might not want to be the manager anymore. I could either way. I could live with it either way, to be honest with you. You get one more year of Buck, or Buck decides he wants to walk away. See, but this is it for Buck. Buck took this job to get his ring. This is it. Now Buck's not going to get a ring. And he doesn't go to the Hall of Fame without a ring.
What do we do now? Because, who the guy is who you call when you're trying to find another guy? Buck Showalter.
Yeah.
We don't have Buck Showalter to call. Now, who do we call? That's the guy who is always on this is who the Mets should get. This for 20 years. Oh, this is who the Mets should go get. And then they go get him. That's their guy.
Well, we got him forever. We got him.
Now we got him. Now who are we going to call? Now we got nobody to go get.
No, they're going to get Jeff Conine. The manager of the Brewers right now. This is his last year. He's on contract. Craig Counsell. What did I say?
Craig Counsell.
I said Jeff Conine.
That's why I was confused.
Craig Counsell. That's what I meant. Craig Counsell. He's going to be the manager. He's either going to be the manager next year or in 2 years.
Not happening. You know why?
Why?
He's born and raised there. He's a Brewers guy. His whole life is the Brewers.
He's already talking about leaving to go with his kids to college.
It's his whole life. I don't think he's jumping ship from his whole life that he's always done to go run over. And I don't know if he's at buddies with David Stearns or whatever, but
he is. He worked with him.
He was given to him. You know how many people, how many managers David Stearns has hired and fired in his life? 0. He was given him, and now he's still there.
Did you know this? Did you know that 15 years...
So I have no clue what he's going to do with Buck.
10 years ago, Omar Minaya is the Mets GM, right? He has an intern that he's trying to beg the Wilpons to just give him a couple bucks, keep him, David Stearns. And they said, nope, let him go, and now they got to pay him all this money, and they had to tamper, and they had to risk all that other stuff.
If he was in the organization, he would have never stayed in the organization.
He was an intern. If they gave him the money, he would have, right?
No, but I'm not saying that. It's that something other. If he was around, something bad would have happened while he was around that would have made him either want to go or them to kick him out, and he would never came back. So sometimes the path to get here has to be with, or he would have never got that experience. So if he never got the experience of being whatever, going to the Brewers and making a team to win a couple division titles, he'd never be coming back. You have to go earn it.
So is that if there's a fork in the road, take it, or is it a road less traveled?
It's this stuff's just luck. It's all just luck.
Okay, so now next week, give me the book, Brett. Give me the book.
Next week?
Give me the book.
Marty.
Book you've been knocking around all day. Next week we got
I got a book.
Marty Smith. You know him from College Game Day. Brett, let's do a quick minute on. He's gonna come on. I'm gonna do plenty of Coach Prime.
He's a big NASCAR guy, but I love him on College Game Day. He does all the behind the scenes stuff. You'll have him he'll be in depth with the athletes in the college stuff. Really, let me tell you, this guy's. I don't know, still not sure why, but
not sure why, bro. How I got
him. Coming on.
Also, in a couple weeks, we're gonna have Marash of the Tiki and Evans show.
Yeah,
he's coming on the show. A good friend of mine, actually. I ran into him on the train on the way here, actually. He's coming on the show, loves the show. Turns out he loves the show, Brett.
Big guess.
So, tomorrow, Brett, I'm locked in. I'm locked in on Coach Prime. I'm locked in on Colorado State. 3-0. They're heavy favorites. You got the Colorado State coach saying, when I shake someone's hand, I take my glasses off and I take my hat off. Deion's like, F you. I don't care what you do.
His mother. He said, your mother doesn't teach you respect.
After Colorado beats them by 30 points tomorrow night, Deion should take his glasses off and take his hat off and shake his hand and say, I tell your mother I said hello.
Oh, no way. He's gonna have on one of those big hats.
Did you see?
He's gonna have one of the big hats. I'm telling you, right after the win, it's gonna be one of the. You ever see one of the oversized hats?
Yeah.
It's gonna be one of the huge hats.
Did you see what's his face? Who does the podcast that we were just talking about on ESPN? The punter.
Oh, Pat McAfee.
Pat McAfee had Deion on today. He gave him a huge belt buckle.
Oh yeah, it was like yeah.
He's wearing
with
that.
with the Colorado Buffalo on it.
ESPN did their whole week. They basically, it's not college game day, it's college game week, and they did all their shows on the campus of Colorado.
We don't watch college football anymore. We watch reality TV.
No, yeah,
that's what it is.
We don't watch college football anymore. We watch Colorado.
That's it. It's a Colorado house.
It's a Colorado show.
Notre Dame going off. Notre Dame, they have a quarterback who has 10 touchdowns his first 3 games. Hasn't been done in 25 years. I don't care.
Coach Prime.
Colorado.
It's crazy. It's a crazy story. And
every time it goes to Colorado, Cordell Stewart, I was in.
And in
Sanders,
a couple weeks.
All the Sanders.
In a couple weeks, they got USC.
No, they have some big matchups.
Like big games.
Big matchups
and
coming up.
He didn't
so that's going to be the test. That's going to be the test. They have to win one of those 2 games. Either the Oregon game or Oregon
USC.
game or USC.
You can only lose a game and still be alive.
No,
2 maybe.
Listen, they should. They're going to find out real fast. Most likely, they're losing both of those games.
Yes, but most likely they will lose.
If they win one, I'm telling you, if they win one, that's big for them. That's real. They need to win one of those games.
Yeah, but now they're talking about Deion's kid as a big time draft pick. They're talking about how I would want him more. I mean,
you know who the top nil guys are? I was looking like the top.
Who are they? Is they all on that team?
He's on there now.
Who is?
Who else do you think is on there?
The 2-way player.
And I'm looking from all sports too. 2-way player. He is, but he's down there. He's like but he's getting. Who do you think number 1 is? All sports. And now you have to think about it. It's not just because you're good at sports. It's because someone's famous in your family, and you're good. So think about it: basketball, football. There are some other ones too. Like there's like the girls are in the women's basketball and whatever. Okay. But number 1, who do you think number 1 is? Think about famous.
LeBron's kid.
There you go. Bronny James is 1.
He's not. Where does he play college?
USC freshman. He's already number 1.
So he's going in. He hasn't played a game yet.
$6 million nil deal. He's number 1.
But he doesn't need the money. I mean, the one
kid who doesn't need the money. Nobody says I don't need the money. What do you mean he doesn't need money? That's not his money. That's not his money. Your parents' money isn't your money.
It is though.
Your parents' money is not your money.
LeBron's gonna die one day, right?
You don't die the day you retire. That's not his death date. That's his retirement date, Bob. And that's 6 years away.
Because he's gonna play with Bronny.
Right. Not even close.
Wait. So give me some of the other ones.
Well, yeah, the other one. So Sanders' kid is somewhere in like the $4 million range. He's up there.
Really?
At Colorado, like.
But who's paying him this? The boosters?
It's the
sponsors.
Specific sponsors.
He's doing commercials and stuff.
It's a management company.
Okay.
So somebody is. Did you see? All right. Well, who else is on there? Caleb Williams, the USC quarterback. So he's one who's not.
But he's number 1 pick.
Yes. And then the other guy, the 2-way player, Hunter's on there, but he's like $1 million.
But these kids,
he's like $1 million, but like that's kind of where that's at.
These guys were historic black college players that nobody ever heard of before, right. and it turns out they can compete. And then they can kill it.
Do you know what they're getting on some of these guys for the nil deal? So there's these guys who are like, we don't think they're NFL prospects, or they might be. Okay, so they're getting them on here. We're going to give you $500,000 or $800,000, and they go to Georgia. They go to big schools. Okay, we gave you the $800,000. We also get 15 to 20% of your pre-tax NFL earnings for your first 5 to 10 years.
Oh, but you don't want. Yeah, but
there's a guy right now in court. There's a guy right now in court saying that was illegal.
Yeah,
and there's about to be a thing over that.
It might be illegal,
but that's what they're doing to these kids because they're kids who probably won't.
They got no money. They need the money.
They probably won't make it.
No, they probably
will.
But
if they do,
they're giving it to kids that probably will.
They're not stupid.
Like Caleb Williams, he's not dumb. But some of these kids don't come from anything. They need the $500,000. They need $50,000 to buy books and stuff for some of the schools.
And someone's been grooming them.
That's what they do. They groom them.
Of course, they've been getting groomed since these kids have been getting groomed since middle school.
Republicans should be after about
in the right towns and with the right size and whatever. These guys have been getting done since 9th grade, 8th grade.
Yeah, you're right. If they're that good and that they definitely have an NFL prospect.
It's different today.
That's crazy. All right, so that does it for us here. Remember, next week, Marty Smith, I'm going to have that spot for you. I got there's two shows coming out because I did the interview with Danielle Orsello, the fantasy writer, big Giants fan. Good thing I'll put that out tomorrow. I'll put this out tomorrow. Listen, we got NFL.
Giants lose to the Cardinals. Jets beat the Cowboys.
I think the Jets
beat the Cowboys, so you're welcome, Giants.
I think Giants win by a field goal. Jets lose by a field goal.
Sounds about right.
Right? So that does it for us here. For Brett Grasso, I'm Bob Walters. Enjoy the games, everybody. See ya.